In a big house, there lived a kind young girl named Cinderella. Every day, she worked very hard from morning until night. One morning, Cinderella was sweeping the living room floor. Her stepmother sat in a chair behind her, telling her what to do. Far in the background, her stepsisters sat on the couch, playing and laughing together, without helping at all. When the floor was clean, Cinderella went into the kitchen. There were many dirty dishes waiting for her, so she quietly washed them one by one. After her chores were done, Cinderella went to her room. There, she picked up one of her books and began to read. Reading was her favorite thing. It made her feel calm, peaceful, and full of lovely dreams. That same day, something very exciting happened. A royal messenger came to the house with a special invitation. The king was holding a grand ball at the palace, and Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were invited. The stepsisters squealed with delight. They hurried to their room to get ready, talking all at once about dresses, dancing, and how wonderful the night would be. Soon, the stepmother called Cinderella into the living room. She told her that she and the stepsisters were going to the ball, but Cinderella would have to stay home. Then she gave Cinderella many chores to finish while they were away. Before long, the stepmother and the stepsisters left in their fine clothes, and Cinderella was all alone. Cinderella went back into the kitchen and quietly finished her cleaning. She worked hard, but her heart felt heavy. At last, when the house was still and silent, Cinderella went to her room. She sat down and whispered softly, "I wish I could go too. I wish I could have just one night of music, laughter, and fun." Just then, a warm, glowing light filled the room. Cinderella looked up in surprise. Standing before her was a fairy godmother. The fairy godmother smiled kindly and said, "Twinkle, sparkle, soft and bright, bring this dream to life tonight." At once, warm magic swirled all around Cinderella. Her simple clothes changed into a beautiful ball gown. Her hair became soft and lovely, and Cinderella looked more beautiful than ever. Cinderella looked down at herself with wide, shining eyes. "Oh, thank you," she said. The fairy godmother gave her a gentle smile and led her outside. Under the night sky, the fairy godmother said, "Shimmer, glimmer, moonlight play, bring a coach without delay." In a flash of magic, a beautiful carriage appeared outside the house. Cinderella sat in the carriage. The fairy godmother smiled and said, "Now, remember, dear one, you must be back before midnight." "I will," Cinderella promised. "Now, go and have a wonderful time," said the fairy godmother. Then the fairy flew up into the sky, and Cinderella waved goodbye. Soon, Cinderella arrived at the palace in the magical carriage. Her heart beat fast with excitement. When she stepped into the grand ballroom, she looked around in amazement. The room was filled with sparkling lights, beautiful music, and happy dancing. Cinderella had never seen anything so wonderful. Then the prince noticed her. He saw a beautiful young woman who looked kind, graceful, and full of quiet confidence. He walked over, smiled warmly, and asked, "Would you like to dance with me?" Cinderella smiled and said, "Yes." Together, Cinderella and the prince danced across the ballroom. They laughed, talked, and enjoyed every moment together. For the first time in a very long while, Cinderella felt light and happy. But then, from high above, the great clock began to strike midnight. Cinderella gasped. She remembered the fairy godmother's warning. Quickly, she turned and ran from the ballroom in the middle of the dance. She hurried down the palace steps and out into the dark night. The prince followed as fast as he could, but Cinderella disappeared before he could find her. On the staircase, he found only one small glass shoe. The next morning, the prince and the royal messenger went all across the kingdom. They traveled from house to house, searching for the girl whose foot would fit the glass shoe. At last, they came to Cinderella's house. The stepmother greeted them quickly and said that one of her two daughters must surely be the right girl. The first stepsister tried on the shoe, but it was too small. Then the second stepsister tried, but it was too big. At last, and only very reluctantly, the stepmother told the prince about Cinderella. Cinderella stepped forward quietly. She tried on the glass shoe. It fit perfectly. The prince's face lit up with joy. At last, he had found the girl he had danced with, the girl he had been searching for. Soon after, Cinderella and the prince were married. Cinderella was so happy to begin her new life at the palace, where every day felt brighter, kinder, and full of joy. In her heart, she knew that kindness, hope, and courage had led her to this happy new beginning. And from that day on, Cinderella lived happily ever after.